All right, Shalom. There's a brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Matthew chapter 10 and verse 20. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And he shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. All right. And I want to go into a lesson on the persecution. All right. Because we know, according to prophecy, that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is going to come down with great wrath. All right. He's lost the information war. He's lost his ability to control the narrative. And because of that, he's going to come down with great wrath. All right. And the Lord's going to use that, because, again, judgment is going to begin at the house of the Lord. So it's going to begin with those who know that they're Israelites, regardless of what camp they affiliate themselves with. Esau's going to come down and it's going to be a blanket. Now, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, we understand that all things work for the good of them that love Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, but we do understand, according to prophecy, that these things shall surely come to pass. All right, this is Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, and this is beautiful through the Spirit, and it's necessary, because we know the only way we get to that city set on a hill, all right, is through this narrow. All right, this is 2nd Esdras chapter 7. And I'm going to jump down. Slakia. Or should I say jump up? This is 2nd Esdras chapter 7 and verse 6. You know what? Let me start up. I'm going to start at verse 3. And I said, speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? All right. And this is that narrow. All right. That hour of temptation, the darkest hour. Persecution is going to happen through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Because, again, we know, according to prophecy, that as the Lord was hated and reviled, those who follow are also going to be hated and reviled. Because Esau coming down with that persecution as a whole is going to sift the house of Israel. But within the nation of Israel coming back to the heritage and the understanding, you have, again, just like in the days of old, the persecution of the prophets, beginning with our apostles. Because one thing you notice about these various camps is that whenever it comes to Great Millstone, they all have the same slander. They all approach and reply with the same slander. They're on one accord on that. They may have differences and breakdowns on what the mark of the beast is and different things of that nature, but they're all on one accord when it comes to how they respond to brothers going into the conduct and the doctrine of these other camps. Their response is always the same. And we know that that's a part of the campaign. All right, let me get this. This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 10. And it reads, let me start at verse 10 reads, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. All right, calling brothers grapists, saying brothers are PDFs. When there's brothers don't indulge in nothing like that, that's a filthy slander. All because brothers are bringing out the laws concerning what the Lord said in Deuteronomy 22. But again, just like in the days of old, everyone is coming back into their lot. Because again, Yahweh Shai, when he was persecuted and his ministry was persecuted, a lot of the persecution came from those who knew that they were Israelites. A lot of it. All right. Now I want to go into this. This is the Greek word for revile. All right. And it's onaidizo. And it says to reproach, upbraid, revile, a deserved reproach, of undeserved reproach, to revile, to upbraid, cast favors in one's teeth. Strong's definition says to defame. Now Esau is going to defame this gospel as a whole, or he's going to attempt to. And already he's putting his pieces in order, all right, to justify coming down with great wrath. Because the persecution really is almost like twofold. Just me speaking as a man, because as we understand we're Israelites, as Jake wakes up to who they are, in Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, it talks about how they had the skin, the sinews, but not the breath. Understanding the times we in and prophecy, all right, gives you a wisdom of that breath, that wisdom of Yahweh Shema Shai. You can have the skin and the sinews on and know that you're an Israelite, but if you don't understand the times that you're living in, these things could catch you unawares. All right, this is Ezekiel 37. And I'm going to jump down to verse 8. And it reads, and when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came up upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Because you have a lot of those who understand they're Israelites, but they don't understand necessarily the time that we're living in. All right, so when these things happen, it's going to catch a lot of them unawares. All right, because Esau is going to demonize this. He's going to make this look like the boogeyman. When you think about what he did with Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, and how he demonized Islam as a whole, all right, to justify, all right, going over in that land and causing hell. He justified that through his narrative, through the media. On the ground floor, all right, in the streets, all right, on the YouTube land, if you will, this word has destroyed Esau's covering cast. At one point, Esau was able to hold the Bible and justify what he was doing by saying he's a God-fearing nation while committing crimes against humanity. He's losing that information war, so he's going to demonize this word, and it's going to justify himself in the eyes of the masses to come down with great wrath. And when he does that, he's going to be that vessel, if you will, to judge those who know that they're Israelites, who have, just like in the days of old, mocked the prophets. All right, matter of fact, let me grab that real quick. This is 2 Chronicles chapter 36 and verse 15. And I'm going to read this in the NLT. It says, the Lord, the God of their ancestors, repeatedly sent his prophets to warn them, for he had compassion on his people and his temple. But the people mocked these messengers of the Most High and despised their words. They scoffed at the prophets until the Lord's anger could no longer be restrained and nothing could be done. And keep in mind, these are Israelites. These are those who know that they're Israelites. And that's why for a lot of Jakes that are, they may be unlearned when they first come into the truth, they say, why is there so much division? Why can't we all come together? But when you look at our nation as a whole, historically, we've never all been on one accord. That's why you have 2/3 and you have the remnant. You have those who know that they're Israelites, but then you have those who understand the signs and the times as well. And then you have the prophets, and the company of prophets, as Apostle Tahar mentions. There's always been these divisions within the nation of Israel. This time is no different. The only difference is that we didn't know who we were before. So Jake is waking up to who they are, and they don't really understand the signs of the times. All right. And that's why the Lord has the prophets within this awakening, if you will. All right. Now I want to get this word for mocked. All right. And the Hebrew word for mocked is lawab. And it says to joke, jest, calling brothers bumalites, PDFs. Those are filthy slanders. And for what? For bringing out the truth of the scriptures, giving the whole truth and nothing but the truth, not shunning to declare the entire gospel. But we know that really when you look at the legacy of the servants of the Lord concerning the prophets, this is a part of the heritage of the prophets. A lot of the persecution that they had to endure was of their own people. Now you have those who don't know that they're Israelites, who scoff at being a Hebrew Israelite in general. But even within the circumcision, if you will, you have this reviling, all right, that we know would happen according to prophecy. All right, matter of fact, this is Matthew chapter 5 and 11. Again, it says, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely. Now, again, I want to grab this word revile, and I want to go to the root word. So it says oneidizo, but when you go to the root word, it says this, onidos, it says reproach, shame. Strong's definition says notoriety, an example, a taunt, disgrace, reproach. Now, Esau's going to do this to the word in general. But even within the circumcision, the prophets of old had to deal with that, man. They had to deal with the slanders, the taunts of their fellow brethren, so to speak, Israelites. And this is an important part of the time that we're coming into, because again, this is a part of the end time prophecy, is that persecution would happen across the board concerning those who understand that they're Israelites. But again, a mocking of the prophets would happen again as well. All right, this is Matthew 16 and 1. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came, and tempting desired him that he would show them a sign from heaven. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, ye say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky, but can ye not discern the signs of the times? And the mercy of the Lord is beautiful, because when you look at the prophets of old, they were always that sign of a crossroad, in many cases, Jeremiah is a perfect example of the Lord basically saying either repent or face this judgment. They were almost like that warning sign, and that was a sign of the Lord's compassion. But what happened? They were mocked. They would be taunted until the Lord actually delivered on that promise. And now we see the same thing happening again in these last days. And it's beautiful, because what's going to happen is that Esau's going to come down with great wrath, and he's not going to differentiate between the camps. He's not going to say, oh, that's IUIC, that's Sakari, that's Watchmen for Israel, that's great. No, they're just going to come against Israelites in general. And the Lord's going to use that as a weapon, if you will, of judgment. The Lord say will first begin at his house. All right, this is This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 1. No, that's not what I'm looking for. That's it. All right. This is beautiful. This is 1st Esdras, chapter 1, Salakia. And verse 49, the governors also of the people and of the priests did many things against the laws, and passed all the pollutions of all nations, and defiled the temple of the Lord, which was sanctified in Jerusalem. Nevertheless, the God of their fathers sent by his messengers to call them back, because he spared them and his tabernacle also. But they had his messengers in derision. And look, when the Lord spake unto them, they made sport of his prophets. And one of the key ways you see this happening is that there's never, with all of these different breakdowns that these different camps have and these different doctrines that they have, You know, whenever it comes to Great Millstone, they always on one accord when it comes to the same common slander. You know, and that's one of those signs through the Spirit, because we know that the prophets of old were mocked. They had to be. That was a part of their legacy. And this is why this is mentioned so often. You know, you gotta imagine, right? Esau putting up on CNN, Fox News, you know, the Hebrew Israelites. He's not gonna differentiate. But that's when the Lord's gonna require those idle words. All right. This is Matthew 12. And I'm gonna jump down to 36. And it reads, "But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." Calling brothers grapists, you know, saying all these different type of slanders, the Lord's going to require that. And again, Esau has been set up as a weapon, if you will, of judgment, as a tool of judgment, if you will. We know eventually the Lord's going to use Esau even against himself, but he's been used against us as a nation of people as a tool for judgment. All right, this is Romans 13:3. "For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil." So as the Lord allows Esau to come down with great wrath, he's going to begin at his house and he's going to administer judgment. Salaki, This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 17 says, "For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh Shema Shai. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh Shema Shai?" And the persecution is a part of that judgment beginning at the house of the Lord concerning those who know they're Israelites, man. You know, and all of this is happening according to the will of the Lord in perfect timing and in perfect fashion. Whether it be the slanders that are put out there, all right, or Esau using every opportunity to see a Jake in a domestic tea situation, using that to justify what he's about to do concerning great wrath. All right, because again, when he comes down, he's not going to differentiate between the camps. But all of these things he's going to keep in his arsenal to justify what he's about to do. Because when the lies don't work, what Esau immediately turns to is the physical sword. When the sword of the tongue don't work, he turns to the physical sword. You know, and as I was meditating this week on the things that are happening, whether it's current events or, you know, the things that are happening within the circumcision, it's all moving toward prophecy. And that's why the signs of the times are important. And just knowing you're an Israelite is not necessarily the finish line. You know, the focal point right now is prophecy because we're closer than we've ever been before. But in order for us to get that city that's set on the hill, we have to go through that narrow. And just like our Lord was persecuted, all right, we're no greater than our master. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. You know, matter of fact, let me see. This is Matthew chapter 5 and 12. And it reads, "Rejoice and be exceeding glad." I'm going to start at 11. It says, "Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you." And the Lord being the King of Kings, the Son of Man, if he was persecuted, you know, it's expected. It's a part of the campaign. Agents are a part of the campaign. Betrayal is a part of the campaign. Yahushua life was set forth as an example of all aspects of this journey. All right, this is Matthew chapter 10 and 21. I'll start at 20. And it says, "For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child. And the children shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated for all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved. But when they persecute you in the city, flee into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man become. Till the Son of Man become, Salakia, the disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household? Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, and hid that shall not be known." All right, so Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasha Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.